In the past 2 weeks, a lid has been lifted on the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority KEMSA after a scandal worth 3.7 billion shillings on procurement of mosquito nets was unraveled. My name is Beldin Waliula and we'll be revisiting the KEMSA story today. Time under her docket following investigations into the 3.7 billion mosquito net procurements. She lashed out that there are state officials who are hell-bent on interfering with KEMSA core functions.
People in this country who are hell-bent to enrich themselves on the backs of patient money. Very shameful, on donor money. That you cannot assist yourself, you are assisted, but there are people who have grouped themselves to benefit from these monies. I am not going to allow it to happen.
The authority that is mandated to supply drugs in most of the public hospitals and even private has been muddled with corruption, where COVID-19 billions vanished in thin air. The health CS says her efforts to clean up the authority were not received with open arms.
My few days in office, I told the CEO KEMSA, my friend, from today, I want to see pre-qualification through an information management system. And she told me, Madam CEO, the PPOA Act does not allow us to do it, and it is too costly to do it. I told her, I know somebody who will do it for free. And when the person went to visit, the CEO was not present. And therefore, we did not do any pre-qualification. But I'm glad that now we are going to do it. After that tender was advertised, just before it closed, there was also another newspaper advert saying that it has been extended. And I think a few days later, there was also another advert saying that it had been terminated and the process was going to start all afresh. And it's at that point that I noticed that there was a problem. I asked the CEO to let me know why we are behaving in the papers as though we don't know what we are doing.
According to the CS, the whole mishap was brought up by not following the stipulated rules of procurement.
However, I need to clarify that as part of this procurement process, after the evaluations are done, the report is given to the Director of Procurement within KEMSA for him to give his opinion. Then after that, it goes to Global Fund. But there was a misstep that this report was first submitted to Global Fund. And submitting to Global Fund is part of the process for them to give concurrence if procurement should proceed. And when you are seeking concurrence, it can come in a yes or a no. And in this case, Global Fund said no. And they gave their reasons as to why it is a no, pointing to how the evaluation was done. So for me, I consider it as a part of the process. And now we have been able to nip it before it happened. Suppose what Global Fund has said is true, because we are also doing investigations in terms of how that evaluation happened and going into the nitty-gritty of the details. Then it has assisted us to ensuring that then public funds are not misappropriated.
Nahumicha accused the suspended CEO and board members of the authority they were directly linked to the irregularities in the tendering process.
Yes, the buck stops with me. And those who were suspended is because we had an internal investigation and we had names behind what we found out. So internally, we have made the suspension based on their involvement at that level. However, I personally wrote to EACC and they have come to do a thorough investigation.
An internal audit report saw PS for Public Health Dr. Josephine Mburu's term terminated with various new appointments made. Dr. Andrew Mulwa was appointed acting CEO at KEMSA and Irungi Nyakera the chair of the KEMSA board. The audit also saw Permanent Secretary Peter Tum reassigned from the Ministry of Health to the Ministry of Sports. The procurement of the 10 million mosquito nets will now be done by Global Fund itself through its procurement organ, wambo.org. While commissioning the new KEMSA board, the CS called on the new team to put their best foot forward and also recalled the KEMSA employees who are working from home after the COVID-19 scandal emerged in order to give room for investigations.
That there are people who are interested in enriching themselves on the backs of patients. Those are the people that I want to deal with them. We are going to uproot all the roots, all the evil spirits that have been planted in this institution. Nitazingoa. And members of the staff of KEMSA, please know I am your ally. Should you smell something that looks like corruption, please come and let me know. Whoever it is. And I said I might not have any other muscle, but I will name and shame anyone who is brought to my attention. Investigation is done, and they are known to have caused problems in this institution. We must move forward as a clean institution.
KEMSA has been notorious when it comes to corruption and mismanagement of resources. What Kenyans will be waiting for is if the recent cleanup will do any good to the authority. World Health Organization, in a recent report, Born Too Soon, states that Sub-Saharan Africa and Asia is experiencing a rise in the number of babies born preterm. Babies born before the gestation period is completed has also been on the rise in the country. And to that fact, we engage an obstetrician gynecologist to explain why we are having babies born too soon in the country.